Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Om Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare Hare Hari Bol and Hare Krishna. Sorry for coming in a little late. I had to attend to some emergency. Hope you won't mind. Today, we are continuing our series on discussion of different types of gurus in the conversation between Maharaj Yadu and the Avadhuta, the wonderful, amazing person who had a keen sense of observation and was observing the world in a completely different way and learning amazing lessons. We can understand that we don't need brick and mortar schools with walls in it and put all the people inside that and subject them to certain types of knowledge which are actually not very useful to them, and push it inside their brain, inside their head, and have them move around like robotic, molded clones, and then they get into problems in life because they don't have this type of an understanding about life. We need to have common sense. We need to have education. We need to have learning. So I'm remembering each one of these amazing lessons that we can learn from this 24 Gurus incidents is so nice. It's filled with learning. Just like that Avadhuta learned. Anybody can use his common sense and learn. Today we are going to learn something amazing from a bee, from a honeybee. How we are going to learn and what is the lessons that will be taught to us are all very interestingly stated in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam, and many such places. We are going to just touch upon that a little bit and come to some conclusion. Okay? So here we are. Today you're going to learn about the honeybee. You will never expect that so many wonderful lessons can come out of that buzzing bee who seems to be so absorbed all the time in collecting, in savoring, in very selectively moving and smelling and enjoying so many different types of flowers. Wow, what's that? Eating. Wow, that's a lot of eating. Is your mouth salivating? Watch out, it may be some non-veg.
Of course, Maharaj.
So, stokam graset grasam deho varteta yavata krihan ahimsan atishtet vrittim madhukarim muni. The Muni, a saintly person, should accept only enough food to keep his body and soul together. He should go from door to door accepting just a little bit of food from each family. Thus, he should practice the occupation of the honeybee. First thing you learn from the honeybee is, wow, it goes from flower to flower and takes a little bit of honey here, a little bit of there, and a little bit of honey there. Madhu Karim means madhu means honey. Madhukari means taking a little honey from here, taking a little honey from there. Vrittim madhukarim munihi. That is the way of his life. The honey. So this man learned, I should not be eating all at once in one place, chomp, 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 chomp as much as I can, get a fat belly, like Prabhupada says in the purport, become a chubby bee. You know, a bee can also become chubby and suck a little too much from each one of those flowers. But you know, the flowers, each one of them are very attractive, smells very good. But the amazing thing about this honeybee is it goes, takes a little bit there and goes to the next flower and takes a little bit there and goes to the next flower and takes a little bit there. And this way it gets various different fragrances. It get different types of honey. Each honey is different from each flower, right? So variety is the spice of life, and at the same time, don't overdo at any point of time. This is the philosophy of the honeybees eating. So it says here, stokam, stokam, little bit, little bit. Grasit, grasam, absorb it, take it. This thing he learned from the honeybee. Isn't it very amazing? Rather, Prabhupada is saying, if you go to the purport, you will see Prabhupada is reading up there very nicely in the purport. This is the purport. And in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that sometimes the honeybee is attracted by the extraordinary aroma of a particular lotus flower and lingers there, neglecting his usual activity of flying from flower to flower. Unfortunately, at sunset, the lotus flower closes and thus the infatuated honeybee is trapped. Similarly, a sannyasi or brahmachari may discover that excellent foodstuff is available at a particular house. Therefore, instead of wandering from place to place, he may become a veritable resident of such a well-fed household. Thus, he will become bewildered by the illusion of family life and fall down from the platform of renunciation. Amazing quote. Right? Also, if the mendicant takes unfair advantage of the Vedic custom of charity and takes too often from a single family, the resentment he causes will disturb the social order. An ideal sage should, like the honeybee, travel from place to place, but he must be careful not to become a chubby bee by going to many houses and eating sumptuously at each house. So that's interesting. Don't be a chubby bee. It's all not meant for many of you who are grahasthas here. It meant for brahmacharis and sannyasis, isn't it? We can go around and eat as much as we want anywhere else. No, it applies to everybody. One should eat carefully. A brahmana is a person who savors, tastes different types of things, appreciates the Lord for it, and remains in the consciousness of Krishna having provided him that prasadam. He makes very sure that he doesn't overeat. I remember Prabhupada telling his newly made sannyasis in the Western world. They asked him, so sannyas means what? What should I do? I mean, how should I be? What's my mood? So in one place he told that, you know, you'll go to these great places, big houses to eat or visit. When you go there, they may give you good food, especially if they are brahmanas and devotees. Or you may go to a big house where there are not devotees. You may see a beautiful wife of that person and the fantastic household he has. Never think in your mind, oh, I left all these things. I left a wonderful wife. I left my house, left all those wonderful facilities and that cooking she did, everything. And I became a sannyasi. Never think like that, he told. Sometimes people miss household food, especially if you have been a grahastha before, you enjoyed that atmosphere. You can very easily think that, oh, very nice cooking, very good. Tomorrow also you cook this, tomorrow, a day after tomorrow you cook this. I'm leaving only 4 days later. For 4 days, this is the menu. I want to eat this, I want to eat that. In this way, you become a fat sannyasi. You eat a little too much than necessary. So here Prabhupada is saying, better be careful. Don't become a chubby bee. According to here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, such a chubby bee will undoubtedly become entangled in the network of Maya. No one should be overly attached to the gratification of his tongue, because this will lead to an overstuffed belly and then uncontrollable lust. Okay? You eat too much, you get a uncontrollable belly and pressure on it, and then you get pressure on other places and you have lust. Eating can lead to lust. So be careful what you eat. Remember the honeybee eats very carefully, savors very nicely. A Brahmana should not feed himself too much. He tastes everything little by little, like a honeybee. That's the way to eat. That's a lesson we can learn from this honeybee. Right? So that I already read to you this quote, Chubby Bee quote. Anubhyascha mahadhyascha shastrebhyah kushalo narah sarvatah saram adadyat pushpebhyah iva shatpadah. Please read that. Some of you. Santushta Haripriya Dasi, please read that.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Just as the honeybee takes nectar from all flowers, big and small, an intelligent human being should take the essence from all religious scriptures.
Thank you. Another lesson from the honeybee he learned. What's that? He said, just as honeybee takes the nectar from all flowers, big and small, an intelligent human being should take the essence from all religious scriptures. This is a real important topic. In fact, I just recently did this in studying the Bhakti Shastri for them for the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So there Krishna is telling in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, most people in this world are interested in material activities. Everybody is into sense gratification. So the Vedas is a very clever ploy to trap you in the net. Everybody wants sense gratification. Everybody wants to have, enjoyment. And for that, the Veda says, yes, if you do this homa, this yajna, this austerity, this penance, you can get this good wife, you can get good, body and strong, this thing, you can get long life, and you can enjoy this like this, like this, like this. So all material activities involve actions and reactions in the material modes of nature. Everybody is out to enjoy in this world. Nobody wants any austerity. And they get fruitive results by going to the Vedas. The Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position on the transcendental plane. So initially they tell you, you do this, but they keep you under rules and regulations. You can get this, but you have to be like this, like this, like this. Follow the Varnashrama and do it. So they follow that, they do the needful and get legitimate gratification. But after having legitimate gratification for many, many lifetimes, they say, what am I doing? Is there something more to life? And they start thinking. Then Brahma Jigyasa, Atatho Brahma Jigyasa occurs. They start thinking and asking these questions about Brahman, the truth, who am I? And then comes the Upanishadic teachings. The Bhagavad Gita is Upanishad, Gito Upanishad. Prabhupada said there in the purport in the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads mark the beginning of transcendental life. In this way, he slowly starts understanding who am I, who is God. Because this is the purpose of the Veda. Actually, if they present it directly to you, the Veda, you won't take it up. So it's marketed, flowery embellishments and all fluffy stuff is mentioned. This will happen if you do this, because everybody is interested in gratification. But the idea is to bring you to this point. The purpose of the Veda is to fix you up in transcendence. Purpose of the Vedas is mentioned here. Please read that. Dr. Who's that? Dr. Anita Subhash. Can you read that first green rectangle?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
The rituals and sacrifices mentioned in the Karma Kanda division of the Vedic literature are to encourage gradual development of self-realization. And the purpose of self-realization is clearly stated in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Lord Krishna the primeval cause of everything. So self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship with him.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
this is the purpose in the 15th shloka that is mentioned here, 15.15. Vedaisya sarver ahameva vedyaha. By all the Veda, you must get to know me. That's a statement made by Krishna. The Veda is meant for this purpose. Purpose of the Vedas is to have self-realization, is to have relationship with Krishna and have love for him. That is where you are stable. So that's why bhakti is advocated in the Bhagavad Gita as the essence. Although Krishna describes karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, he keeps telling Arjuna that focus on love for me, bhakti, and everything will be God. And in this day and age, the chanting of Hare Krishna is the best way to actually progress. So, would you like to read that Reshma Raj in the blue rectangle?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Devotional service to Lord Krishna,
No, the
awards
next
of
one.
love.
The next one.
The
You
best
can see my
purpose of
cursor?
Vedanta. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in Vedic wisdom, and the author and knower of the Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna. And the highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of all Vedic mysticism. Hare Krishna
Yes,
Maharaj.
thank you. So this is from Prabhupada's purport in the Bhagavad Gita. So the purpose of the Vedas is to get to know Krishna, establish relationship. Therefore, you do Bhakti Yoga. That Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru. And in Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya has come and taught us this Bhakti Yoga principle in a more focused, easier way, is to chant the holy name of the Lord. So the same thing is reflected in the shloka in the Bhagavad Gita. Yavanartha udapane sarvatah samlutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. All purposes that are served by the small pond can at once be served by the great reservoirs of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So we don't go around studying all the scriptures under the sun and get confused and worship so many different demigods and all that. We take the prescription given by Prabhupada because it is not possible for us to study the entire Vedic literature and come to a conclusion following Varnashrama, rules and regulations, do Homa, Yajna, and then come. All that is very difficult to do in Kali Yuga. Therefore, here is another purport of Prabhupada saying, it requires much time, energy, knowledge, and resources to execute the purpose of the Vedas. This is hardly possible in this age. Best purpose of Vedic culture is served, however, by chanting the holy name of the Lord as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, the deliverer of all fallen souls. Or another quote, the best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. So don't think we are chanting the holy name, we are not reading the Bhagavad Gita and all that. This is the essence. Because Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is like that honeybee. He has the best of the honeybees. He has taken the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita and the entire Vedic literature, presented in a working format. You chant Hare Krishna, you engage in Harinam Sankirtan, you worship Krishna, you actually eat prasadam, live in the company of devotees. And in this way, that is the essence of the entire Vedic literature. Don't think Krishna consciousness is something new, fashionable, and we have not heard about this before in Hinduism. Actually, Hinduism is having a problem because Hinduism is not focused on the supreme absolute truth. It's not focused on Sankirtan for this age. Hinduism has got all sorts of polytheistic stuff. You have to worship that demigod, this demigod, and go for this parihara, do this homa, that yajna, and all sorts of fake gurus are inside. They don't know the essence. So we are like honeybees. We've got Krishna consciousness already selected and taken. and the honey is being given to us. We should simply chant Hare Krishna and become Krishna conscious. That's the lesson we learn from this honeybee. So if you read this other quote also from the purport about the honeybee, you will see something very amazing that Prabhupada is trying to tell us. What is he trying to tell us actually? That's very interesting. From this purport we can see. Please, Rangaram Devarajan, would you like to read the quote on the screen?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thanks, Maharaj. A honeybee does not waste its time trying to carry away an entire bush or garden, but rather takes the essential nectar. We may thus study the difference between the honeybee and the ass who carries heavy loads. Education does not mean to become an intellectual ass carrying heavy loads of useless knowledge. Rather, one should accept the essential knowledge that leads to an eternal life of bliss and understanding.
Thank you. So therefore, don't keep on browsing on the internet. Don't go to that YouTube and listen to this one and get this, everything. And finally confuse yourself with various different philosophies and all that. Focus on Prabhupada's books. He has written the essence from all Vedic literature for this time and age and Kali Yuga people. Just read nicely Prabhupada's books. Read the Bhagavad Gita very nicely. You can enroll for our courses and classes that we often conduct. You will be on the track. You'll be like the honeybee. You'll be doing the most wisest of all things. And you'll be saram samudritam. Saram means essence. The saram of the saram is what's being given to you when you chant the holy name and practice Krishna consciousness. Essence of the essence. From the Bhagavad Gita, if you read, the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the entire Vedic literature. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopala Nandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitam Mritam Mahatir. It's mentioned that if all the Vedic literature, which the main essence is in the Upanishads, is represented by a cow, and if the cow is milked, which the milker of the cow is Krishna, and that milk is Bhagavad Gita, it's being fed to Arjuna. Arjuna drinks it. He gets the entire essence. And here in Kali Yuga, that essence is further essenced and brought to you in the form of chanting the holy name. And if we do that, we're getting the essence of the essence. So don't be foolish and going and listening to this and that and this and that and getting confused. Simply follow Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's aspect and you'll be all right. Then the third lesson you can learn from the honeybee is very interesting. Okay, please, who can read that on the, who likes to read that on the screen? I'm seeing many people, but I don't see their videos. So, who likes to read that on the screen?
A saintly person should not think.
Yeah, go ahead.
A saintly person should not think, this food I will keep to eat tonight, and this other food I can save for tomorrow. In other words, a saintly person should not store foodstuffs acquired by begging. Rather, he should use his own hands as his plate and eat whatever fits on them. His only storage container should be his belly, and whatever conveniently fits into the belly should be his stock of food. Thus, one should not imitate the greedy honeybee who eagerly collects more and more honey.
Thank you. Another amazing lesson, the third lesson, don't collect too much, more than necessary. Okay? So what does that mean? Let's go to Prabhupada's, what he's saying. So, if you read here, where is that? However, all right. However, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur points out that for a purpose of, where is that? Yeah, come to the purport here. Can you see my cursor? There are two types of honeybees, those who collect nectar from the flowers and those who actually manufacture honey in the beehive. One is called the Brahmara, other is called the Makshika. The Brahmara is the one that goes from flower to flower and takes a little bit. Makshika is the one who stays in the honey place where the honeycomb is there and keeps enjoying and collecting that honey. This verse refers to the second class, that is the one that stays in the honeycomb. The greedy honeybee eventually collects so much honey that he is trapped in his hive, and in the same way, a materialistic person becomes trapped under the burden of unnecessary material accumulation. One who is interested in making spiritual progress should avoid such a situation. What does this mean? You know, you keep collecting the honey. One fine day, the honey collectors, they're called Madhuha. Madhuha guys come and they take away the honey. All the time that you spend in collecting small bits and pieces of honey, and you stored it up in your big honeycomb, the bear comes and eats it up. The honey collectors, famous guys, they come climb mountains and all these places, get the honey. They will take away all your honey. Tam dhunoti bhagavan pumsam sochati yat krite. All that you collected and kept, boom, is taken away. So you should be very careful not to be like the Makshika honey. You should be a Brahmara. As and when required, Krishna is provided for me. So much supplies. He's looking after everybody. Whenever I want, I take it and leave it remaining. I don't have to hoard. The hoarding mentality, that will disappoint you. You'll become a fat, chubby bee, and you become very possessive, highly attached. And the best way to teach you a lesson is to take it away from you. So Krishna arranges that. So who remains agile, unattached, and free from all these type of situations is the Brahmamara bee. At the same time, here is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is quoting him, making an amazing point. However, is marked in yellow. However, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out that for the purpose of spreading Krishna consciousness, one may accumulate an unlimited amount of material opulence. This is called Yukta Vairagya, or using everything in the service of Krishna. A saintly person who is unable to work in Lord Chaitanya's mission should practice austerities. Okay? Let me get to that. To the other point that's in yellow. However, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur points out that for the purpose of spreading Krishna consciousness, you can collect unlimited and spend it. Prabhupada, there's a quote of Prabhupada saying, go ahead, get all the money and spend all the money by distributing prasadam, by having programs, publishing books, distributing books and distributing knowledge. And our business will be, we will collect from morning to night, spend it by night, and by night we'll have nothing in our pocket. Next morning again we will go and collect and we will spend it. This is a quote of Prabhupada. Krishna will provide because we are doing his job, or rather marketing for him. There is plenty. Don't worry. Prabhupada was amazingly telling us this. In his real life, he went with $7 in his pocket to America, and you can see what huge assets he garnered for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, even today. But a great caution. A great caution. What is that caution? A saintly person who is unable to work in Lord Chaitanya's mission should practice austerities and collect only what he can hold in his hands and belly. However, one who has given his life to Krishna may collect unlimitedly on Lord Krishna's behalf. In fact, without acquiring material opulence, how is it possible to spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world? But if one tries to personally enjoy the funds or facilities acquired for the missionary activities of the Krishna consciousness movement, he commits the greatest offense. Therefore, even in the name of Lord Krishna, one should collect only what he can immediately engage in practical devotional service. Otherwise, one will fall down to the platform of ordinary greediness. Very important caution. Very important caution and important information for us. Okay? So these are amazing instructions from the honeybee. Very, very interesting. If following what the honeybee does, it collects honey. And you as a human being, you have intelligence, you can earn money, you can collect it and everything. Whether you're a grihastha, whether you're a brahmachari, whether you're a sannyasi, you should know money is not important. Wealth is not very important. If you're a sannyasi, you just need some little food to maintain yourself. Right? But if you're a sannyasi in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which Prabhupada was as a founder, he collected money. He said, give me money. I want it. Boldly. Why? I want to use it and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. There's a huge mission waiting. I want all the money in the world. And I want all the manpower in the world. You have 4 children. Why don't you give 1 child to me? He was openly asking. He was openly asking because this is for Krishna. This is for Krishna. So for the sake of Krishna and for spreading Krishna consciousness, one can get all the money in the world. But the problem is he should not become attached to it. He should simply be a custodian. Simply be a custodian. And then use it in Krishna's service. So the danger is sometimes we see in big organizations like this, people become attracted and attached to the money they get for the organization, on behalf of the organization. And that's it. After that, their spiritual life is gone. Actually, they lose much greater wealth. Krishna consciousness they lose. And they think that they have got something. But you've lost in the bargain something much bigger. Actually, everyone is very rich because of having Krishna Bhakti. That is the greatest wealth. Ordinary money and material wealth is not really anything comparable to Krishna consciousness or Bhakti. So by staying in Krishna consciousness movement, you can accumulate that rich Bhakti. And there is no limit to how much you can accumulate there. And that will not make you fall down. That will only make you far, far more detached and advanced in Krishna consciousness. That is a greater richness. So if somebody pays importance to material wealth, which is supposed to be belonging to the society, and he gets carried away by it, very sad, pathetic, he does not know what really makes you wealthy. Right? So, you know, Krishna conscious movement, there is opulence. You have huge temples. You have a fantastic amount of money spent every day on worship of Radha and Krishna. Prasadam distributed to everybody. And Krishna attracts wealth of so many devotees. And it's our duty to manage it very, very, very carefully without getting attached to it, attracted to it. But we must also manage it properly, right? And disperse it properly in Krishna consciousness, expansion and spreading. You may buy land, you may build a huge temple, you may distribute prasadam, you may have opulent offerings to the Lord and blessings for the Lord. People will come and appreciate it. What a beautiful darshan. What a wonderful job you people are doing. I like to give you some money. I like to, because you're spending it so nicely in the service of the Lord. And in this way, Krishna attracts Lakshmi. Lakshmi will be happy to come and serve Narayana, Prabhupada said. Wherever you have Krishna being worshipped nicely, Lakshmi will automatically come to serve him. But don't you dare try to enjoy Lakshmi like Ravana did. Then everything is doomed. Everything is doomed. So these are powerful lessons we can learn from the honeybee. Number 1, what is it? Number 1, don't stick to one flower alone. Go to many flowers, Brahmamara, and take little from everywhere. You'll get little variety. And in this way, you'll remain detached and not too attached. Number 2, when you read scripture, don't sit and read this, that, collect this information from there, cut and paste from here. And then my next talk that I give, I can use this, that I can do, this I can do. Then finally, what is the goal of life? Why am I doing all these things? It's okay. All we need to do is to give a lot of lectures and classes. And then I become famous on social media and YouTube, and a lot of people follow me. Wow, that's the goal of life. But what's actually the purpose of life? What are you trying to achieve? That's okay. That doesn't matter because I don't know it. I've got so much of knowledge. I'm completely confused. I don't know the conclusion. Siddhanta, I don't know. That's a big problem too. That's why stick to reading Prabhupada's books first nicely. Develop a ground, because he has given amazing amount of information. Amazing. Get to know that very carefully, because he has written it so well, fit for Kali Yuga people to understand. After you mastered that and understood that, you may, with the permission of your mentor, make a foray into reading some other scripture if it is necessary. If it is necessary. Generally, by the time you complete reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and fully understanding it, more than a lifetime it will take you. So I say, if you read the Bhagavad once, twice, thrice, read the Chaitanya Charitamrita once, twice, thrice, read the Bhagavad Gita many times, then you'll get to know somewhat. It requires several readings and a little experience in Krishna consciousness, devotional service, and we get all these realizations. So that's more than enough. That's more than enough, actually. Okay? So that's the second thing you learn. The third thing you learn is what? What's the third thing? Let me take it from you. What's the third thing from the honeybee?
Much more than necessary.
Yeah, don't accumulate like the Makshika. Don't accumulate too much. Be the Brahmara bee. Don't accumulate. You know, the lotus flower is so nice. The honey from the lotus flower cures the eyes, it seems. It's called Padma Madhu, especially. They will treat you. They'll apply that in the eyes for many problems with the eyes. The honey from the lotus flower is especially very fragrant. And the bees, they keep on drinking that sometimes and get stuck in it. And when the sun sets, the petals close and the bee gets stuck inside. That is what happens. That's in the first shloka it is mentioned. But similarly, you can keep feeding on the same honey and get stuck and get attached to it and lose variety and lose the chance to remain detached. So if you accumulate, like the Makshika does, Makshika is a second type of bee which remains in the honeycomb, highly possessive, highly attached, and it arranges all the manufacture of the honey inside and sorting it out and everything. Very busy. You see, Prabhupada said, sometimes, you know, you're a custodian and you're inside the honeycomb and you've got duties to do. You're dealing with honey. So Prabhupada says sometimes while dealing with honey, a little bit of honey gets stuck in your hands. He used this example by talking about ghee. He said a ghee businessman dealing with ghee belongs, this ghee he buys, this ghee he sells. We can't eat off the ghee in between. Then it will spoil the product. So, but he said, as he's dealing with ghee, some ghee gets stuck in his hands that he can lick. That is his ghee. So in the process of handling money, sometimes people get a little money. Okay. Very less, small fraction of it. He said, that's okay. In business, they say that jo, ghee आपके हाथ में लगा है, जो घी का व्यापार जो करते हैं उनके हाथ में जो घी लगा है वो आपका है. You can't take it out anyway. That you can lick it up if you want. So sometimes a little benefits are there. I am staying in the temple of the Krishna conscious movement, so the Mahaprasadam comes to me. Wow, Maharaj is a sannyasi, so let us give him the Maha first. Of course, there are some devotees who may give the Maha and also take the Maha for themselves. Everybody, like I said, a little bit. So I may get, and if I simply eat the Maha day in and day out, I'll be finished. I'll be finished. So I have that advantage. Even that advantage, I don't indulge in it too much. I may take a little bit and taste. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's time, there is a nice Leela. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was a powerful speaker, very highly educated and very greatly knowledgeable in the Shastras. So, but he would speak the essence of the Shastra. You know, not all these other stuff. embellishments and the other stuff. So he got cut to the chase, like they say. He said Brahmana is not very important, Vaishnava is more important. So all the Brahmanas went against him. And then he said all these caste Brahmanas are useless and all that, Kali Yuga, etc., etc. Vaishnava is already a Brahmana. He gave his own version from the Shastra. The Brahmanas do not like it. But they all liked him because he's a great sadhu. So one Brahmana invited him to the house to have lunch and everything with the disciples and give some talk. But then these caste Brahmanas called him up and said, you better be careful. Don't allow him to speak. If you want, you can make him eat. But don't allow him to speak because you'll get converted. They told him, since you are a Brahmana and we will outcast you if you don't listen to us, don't listen to him. Bhakti Thakur came to know about this man is calling me home, but he won't allow me to speak. He didn't arrange a program, nothing. It happens to me also many times. Simply want you to eat. We want to trap you and keep you inside our house and enjoy you. We want you to eat, stay here and be here and sleep here and snore here and, everything you should do. We want to possessively hold you. I don't hang around like that. I need to talk to some people and propagate Krishna consciousness. And that's my main reason. So what happened, Bhakti Thakur heard about it and he very nicely smiled to him and all that. And they just fasted. And when they came and gave them a huge preparation, he took only the tulasi and honored the prasad and said, thank you very much. You're not eating. And all the disciples also did that. Along with the Guru, they fasted for 3 full days. He was cooking a feast after feast and said, please eat, please eat. No, he didn't eat at all. Can you imagine the great worry? If you don't give me a chance to speak Krishna consciousness, preach to people, why will I eat your food and become a chubby bee, like it's mentioned here? I won't eat your food. So in this way, they became very disturbed. And then he bade farewell and said, thank you. And he left. He crossed the Ganges and right on the bank of the Ganges, he put firewood and cooked a big barrel of khichdi. And gave it to all his disciples and he also ate it, distributed it to others. And this man saw this from the side. What an amazing Leela that is. I refuse to be a chubby bee in your house. You don't give me a chance to speak Krishna consciousness, I don't eat. I don't eat. So on the other side, sometimes I go to people who do a very active preaching. And if they force me, Maharaj, you have to eat, I eat. Because I am in the house of a person who is a preacher and he values preaching very much. And he preaches and he expands the Krishna conscious movement. Why not I give myself to him and say, okay, I'm eating along with you. And then there'll be program, there'll be fun and everything together. So it's important for us to know that Krishna conscious movement is an amazing movement. At the same time, do not exploit anything there. Be very careful. There is a shloka in the Bhagavatam that says, like it's mentioned here, it's a great offense, Prabhupada said in the purport. Anybody who takes anything belonging to the deity and uses it for himself will be born for so many thousands of janmas as worms in stool. And he will eat his own stool again and again. And he'll be born again in the same place. There's an amazing shloka. This is Krishna telling Uddhava about deity worship. Better be careful. Do not touch anything belonging to the deity. In fact, everything belongs to the deity. Everything belongs to Lord Jagannath. So there are instructions like that also. Some heavy instructions, light instructions. Prabhupada is very light here. So do not use it is very great offense. Okay, so these are some of the things that we can learn 1, 2, 3 from the honeybee. There's a lot more that we can keep talking about, but we have this short sessions. It's already 8:30 and I thought I'll take a few questions from some of you, if you have. Om Tat Sat. Any question? Prabhavi Gopi Devidasi, yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, can you hear me?
Yes.
Maharaj, regarding the 3 points you said, second and third is, I can understand. But regarding the first lesson from the honeybee, I was wondering, like, does anyone actually practice this now in Kali Yuga? Madhukari? Because Grihasthas don't do that, but even within ISKCON, would sannyasis and brahmacharis do that?
Well, in principle, you do that. It's not that you're going around Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi, doing that. In Kali Yuga, if you do that, then nobody will open the door. They'll be inside their AC room. Nobody does that. And we are in an organization, sannyasis are looked after by the grihasthas. In fact, sannyasis are invited. But when they're invited to the house to eat, a sadhu should eat in my house, it's very good and all that. So many times, I practically get invitations. You don't have to go and beg for food. ISKCON is very famous and devotees are treated very well. So we go and eat. Therefore, but we have to be careful on the other side. We should be careful. The Madhukari principle is, I take a little bit of everything. I don't overeat. I satisfy the host. Sometimes here and there they'll push a little bit and all that. Okay, to satisfy you, I'll take one more of this. That's all. And if I have eaten enough, then I'll reduce my lunch. I'll reduce my, maybe not take a dinner at all. And this way, dynamically adjust things. Otherwise, you can't maintain your Krishna consciousness. It's mentioned very clearly there. You become lusty. And then you can't control your mind. And then you may do crazy things. So you better be careful if you value your Krishna consciousness.
Maharaj, but we have so many feasts and we have so many festivals and feasts and eating so much.
We also have fasting.
Yeah, but
so
still.
Take the feast and get the fasting done immediately. Compromise for it. Feasts are not like everyday feast. Once in a while it comes, it's nice to enjoy a feast with everybody because it's prasadam. It's an important day. Enjoy the feast. Don't eat in the night. Drink just a glass of water. Be happy. So you should. That's why know how intelligently to adjust things. Don't be a spoiled sport at the feast saying, I am not eating because in the Bhagavatam, Maharaj said the honeybee should eat like this, Brahmamara. And therefore, I shall eat from this 1 beans. And from this, I'll eat 1 lady's finger. From this, I'll take 1 grain. I'm not going to do anything artificial like that. I like to eat prasadam because it's Krishna. I'm going to eat it. Prabhupada did this. The Kumbh Mela first, a Prabhupada disciple who told me this. In the Kumbh Mela, the first Kumbh Mela Prabhupada went to, they had that small tent built and all that. And Prabhupada is showing them how to use the Kumbh Mela and preach Krishna consciousness. Everything. So these foreign disciples, they found it very amazingly exciting. So they went out and looked at different type of sadhus. There was one sadhu with a metal kaupin. And there's one sadhu buried it till here and bees all over his face. There's one sadhu, his head down and his leg alone swinging like this on the top. And in front of every sadhu is a big bowl, you can put coins there. So they found it very exciting. They went around saying, this austerity, that some sadhus in the dark bungalow on the top, they're 300 years old. They've come like the Naga Babas and all that. So they were very excited. They went and told Prabhupada, we saw this sadhu like this with a steel kaupin. We saw this sadhu like that underground in this thing. We saw this like this and all that. And then Prabhupada said, yes, they're all performing severe austerities. And they get siddhis and powers and this and that. He explained to them. But we, followers of Lord Chaitanya, we shall not follow this. And he reached out for a gulab jamun, put it into his mouth. Straight put it in his mouth. chom, started eating, and he said, here, take. He just wanted to tell them, he destroyed that opinion. And he said, he ate the gulab jamun. He's a 70-plus-year-old man, 80 plus maybe when he went for Kumbh Mela. He wanted to cut that idea and that ideology, which they went outside and saw. So Krishna consciousness is a very thrilling, enjoyable process. We jump, we dance, we chant Hare Krishna in Kirtan, we worship Krishna, we eat sumptuous prasadam, and we work day and night for Krishna. He showed that example. Right? So there is a certain lifestyle, and we should not like go to this extreme or that extreme. We need some experience to understand how to actually adopt it. Okay? Right. Any other question or comment? Right. If there's no other question or comment, we will stop here, and I shall liberate all of you from this session so that we can go back with nice lessons from the honeybee and stop being, or try not to be a chubby bee and just be a honeybee, a saram, what do you call, a brahmara bee, interested in the essence. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Maharaj. Wonderful session.